this is a question about whether the experience that the actors had making the movie actually echoed the experience of their characters. And it's directed at all the actors, and specifically at the Marlon. Yeah, let's start with Adrian.
Hello? Does yours work?
Oh, it does work.
It works, but not as well.
Yes, it was enlightening being in North India for the first time for me, and also, being my first film in it and being that first experience. I think what was enlightening about being in India is just sort of reminding yourself, getting some perspective on your life, on the other side of the planet, in a completely different environment, forces you to think about where you live and the background that you've come from. So it was enlightening in that sort of way, but it was quite daunting being my first film, and also just the challenges of being on this moving train and in this desert environment as well. It was quite daunting, but everyone was very helpful, and it was so professional that it wasn't as hard as it might have been otherwise.
Well, I grew up here in New York, and I thought New York was a very unpredictable place, but when you get to India, it's a very different story. And I think the key is letting go and really going with the flow, so to speak, because you have to. And I think it really made me very aware of being present in the moment, and you really realize the precariousness of life and the preciousness of life there. And I think also it was a story, obviously, about three brothers reconnecting and friendship. And I really had a very similar journey with everyone up here. And it was very, when I watched the film, I am reliving my adventures with Jason, Wes, and Roman. I feel a closer connection to my experiences as a character and as a person. There are more parallels than I normally feel with roles that are I'm less similar to, and so for me it was a real it was a profound experience on a number of levels. So I cherish it.
Morris?
Well, can you hear me? I'm enlightened already, so it's a big waste of time for me. Okay. It was, I go to India a lot, but what was amazing for me was to have old friends like Wes and new friends come and see India through their eyes. Whether it's driving around, when we were doing the research trip, or during the movie, just things that I've grown used to, and now to see it through their eyes and their wonderment, and just go, what is going on there? And it's like, you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of that. So that's what was amazing, and it was rediscovering India. But when you go there, you're rediscovering it every time on your own. But then to see it through their eyes was incredible.
The question for Wes to talk about the very lovely luggage and all the baggage.
Well, I don't know if I have that much to say about that. Part of the story, in the short, we wanted to make certain connections between the short and the movie. One of them is the luggage, which belonged to the father, as you know, it belonged to the father, and it sort of represents him. It's decorated with drawings of stampeding animals that my brother drew. well, any other things you want to know about it?
Well, I'm sort of interested in the baggage.
In the baggage, you mean as a sort of symbolic? Well, I mean, you know, to say anything about it will already make it. As soon as we call it baggage, it becomes a pretty heavy-handed symbol, which I'm reluctant to touch on. You know, it was just a, you know, it was just a spontaneous part of the story. We sort of didn't know they were. When we got to the end of the movie and they leave it all behind them, we didn't. It wasn't like our plan that that's what's going to happen. It was sort of just where we arrived, and you know, we thought, well, it's going to seem like they're letting go of all their baggage. But then we thought, well, that's what we want to happen in the story, so we're going to just do it.
Does Roman have anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, that sort of says it all. I think the more we talk about it, the more it puts emphasis on something that doesn't need to be emphasized.
Does Wes hope to have the film distributed in India, and is any of the money from Indian sources?
The money is not from India. We're planning to take the movie and show it ourselves in India because we have, obviously we've made many friends during this process and have other friends in India and people who helped us make the movie, and it's their movie too, and so we're going to go there to show it. I would love it if it's distributed there, but I don't know. I don't know that anybody has said they want to do that. It's not. I mean, probably everybody here knows that in India, they really have their own movie industry, and we're a modest-sized film in the American movie industry. The only movies that really seem to the American movies that really get distribution there might be like a Hindi version of Casino Royale or something like that, maybe. But I don't know about this one. But I could see it being shown in Delhi or Calcutta, maybe in a limited release. But we're gonna give it a shot.
A question for Jason and Adrian about sibling rivalry, which this gentleman feels the film really nailed. And could they talk about how they got that? If it had to do with rehearsal, if it had to do with working in the claustrophobic situation of shooting on a moving train.
Well, first, thank you for seeing that or recognizing or saying that we got the sibling rivalry. Thank you. And well, I could say this, that coming from brothers myself, I find that siblings can fight with each other like no one else really can, because they are born with each other and they're in the same litter, and they love each other in a very, very, very deep way. It's in the fabric of siblings, a certain kind of love that really does allow you to fight in a totally strange way. And this film, to me, makes sense when I watch it, because I see three brothers that have the potential and the capacity to really love each other, because they are born like that, but they're not doing a good job of it. And watching three people that could love each other, not love each other, and stumble is, I think, what gives this film another texture. And I think as actors, being in India, we were three American actors living in India with really nowhere to go but towards each other, and to be there for each other. And it really felt like family being on set in terms of the camaraderie that the three actors had in a very small train compartment, which we really didn't leave between shots. We never wandered off. There was nowhere to go because we were on a train. And I've never had a situation where I've worked with actors where they yell cut and there's 20 minutes or 15 minutes or so until the next thing you have to do, and we just stay with each other, play games with each other, and talk about things and rehearse lines. And then we all lived in a big house together, basically. It was technically a hotel, but it felt like a house in India. And we all had dinner together every night. And there really was a sense of family. And that was one thing Wes had set out to do from the very beginning of the making of the movie, was I want to go make a movie in India with all of us, and it's going to feel like a family, a very small crew. I want us to live together, work on a train together, and I don't want everyone to splinter off in factions, And so there really is that feeling on the set, and I think being in India and being in many microcosms helped the three actors feel like brothers, because we really did have to be there for each other. And I think that that answers the question.
Well, I think you did answer it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, did I answer the question? Okay.
A question for Wes and Jason. The gentlemen would like both of them to comment on each other and on how they feel that they've changed and grown since Rushmore. Who goes first?
Well, maybe if I go first, and I go on long enough, so maybe you won't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when we made Rushmore, Jason had never acted before. He was this high school kid who came into our office, and you know, he was instantly so appealing that I just knew, I really did feel immediately that this was, that we could shut down the casting search, and we had the right person. We worked together in a similar way to the way we worked on this movie, in that we spent a lot of time together before the movie, and we became friends before we started to make Rushmore. But in that movie, I feel like he had lots of questions for me along the way, that were really more about what do people do on a movie set, and where am I supposed to be, and coming from the point of view of somebody who just had never acted before. But then all these years later, when we started this project, we you know, the three of us wrote together, and also even when we did the short film, the Hotel Chevalier short, the thing that struck me was suddenly I was working with a very experienced actor who had done his own preparation that I wasn't a part of, and had made decisions that I was just seeing as he played the scene on camera. And it's, you know, because we hadn't done a film together in all those intervening years, even though we'd had moments when we were planning to. Really, what I saw was someone who was this student that I knew was suddenly a full-fledged, very experienced, very confident actor, and mainly I was just impressed. You know, and I suddenly realized, well, this is someone I can rely on.
No comment from my end.